Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. And last week, you guys got to hear a little bit more from Samuel Omosigo, an incoming 2023 recruit for OU. But today, you guys are going to get to hear from Cayden Green, an incoming 2023 four-star offensive lineman. And we are really excited to have him here in Norman. Cayden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great, except for the allergies. But that's just typical Oklahoman thing.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, let's just go ahead and let's just jump right into it. But kind of just tell us a little bit more about yourself, right? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school? Tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah. I was born in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, right outside of Tulsa. I lived there for the first 4 years of my life, and then we moved up here. My parents got jobs up here, and we've been here ever since. I go to Lee Summit North right now. It's like right outside of Kansas City. A real nice city in Lee Summit, and yeah, I mean, I've been here ever since.
Yeah. So, you said you've been here ever since. So, uh, was OU like your dream school? Like growing up, like was it like OSU or OU? And then like when you received that offer, was it kind of like a no brainer? Like you knew you were gonna go there?
Yeah, so I've been an Oklahoma fan for as long as I can remember. My two schools have always been Oklahoma and Missouri, just because those are two places that I'm from. And then when I got the offer from Oklahoma, uh, I don't know if that was last year or two. I think it was last year in like May. It was a big deal for me. I was freaking out. It was in the middle of the class. I had to go to the bathroom, and it was a big deal. Just as me being a fan, just a college football fan, like that's something you dream of. But really, it wasn't really a no brainer. It was just kind of like okay, like I just got an offer from my dream school, like my childhood dream school. But at the same time, like being a recruit, getting to see all different places, everywhere was kind of like flashing lights and big and grand and everything. So I was kind of in love with everything at first, and then I really kind of set the recruiting part aside and really tried to focus on what was best for me. And I feel like at that point it was kind of a no brainer when I just looked aside from the recruiting and tried to focus on what was best for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, tell us just a little bit more about yourself, right? Uh, what's your favorite genre of music? Do you have a favorite song? Do you have a favorite movie? Just kind of give us a little bit more insight into who Caden Green is.
Yeah. Well, my favorite genres are probably rap, hip hop, and R&B. I'm a big. I think my favorite artist is definitely J. Cole. I don't even know if I have a favorite song by him, but that's definitely my favorite artist. And my favorite movie, that's a tough one. I say Blindside is one of my favorite movies for sure, but I don't know what my favorite movie is. I have to look into that.
So you're gonna love it then, because on game days here in Norman, which I'm sure you've been to OU games,
Yeah,
they got some pretty good rap music for getting warmed up. So
yeah,
it always gets me hyped up watching the players get warmed up to the rap music.
yeah.
So
They got a nice little playlist.
yeah, I'm hoping this year it kind of changes up a little bit. I really like that song. I don't know if you have been following. It's I think it's Crimson and Cream Recruiting on Twitter. But they put out one of the crystal balls that got put out for David Hicks, and they put up a song by it's called Ice Cream Paint Job, and I'd like to see them put that one in the warm up list.
Yeah, I gotta look into that. I don't know that one.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's kind of catchy. It's got a good little beat to it. So, but what are some of your favorite hobbies outside of football?
outside of football, I definitely say listening to music. I listen to a lot of music. Working out, I like to lift. It's kind of like therapeutic almost. And then just hanging out with my family. I mean, I won't get to see them too much for as much as I see them now for too much longer. So I like to hang out with my folks. And yeah, I mean those are some of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, so kind of give us a little bit of insight to that, right? So a lot of people that are going to watch this, they're not recruits. They're not going to go away from their parents like that. So what is it like trying to make that decision on where you're going to go to college and where you're going to go play sports, but like understanding, okay, I'm going to be away from my family. Like, does being away from your family and like having to pick a school that's either far away or close to home, like, does that really play as big of an impact as what we hear? I know in my opinion, it would play an impact for me, but I'm not a football player, so I don't necessarily know how that would play out.
Hmm. Yeah, so basically, as I was like younger and earlier in my recruiting process, um, I wanted to stay close to home. Like I wanted to be within driving distance. But as I got older and realized that, like if I want what's best for me, that might not always be like right down the road. Um, I started to realize that staying close to home might not be my best bet. And I feel like with Oklahoma's only about 5.5 hours from me, so it's within driving distance. So all my family can still come see the games and all that. And I feel like I kind of lucked out in a way because like I wanted to stay close, but at the same time, like I knew that might not be my best interest. But I think with Oklahoma, I kind of got the best of both worlds. Like my best interest is only 5.5 hours away. So it's still close enough that I can drive home and see my family and they can come see the games and all that. But it's still far enough away that I can kind of grow to be my own man.
Yeah, and you're kind of lucky because right now with the OU making the move to the SEC, we still it looks like we're going to have at least maybe a year or two left here in the Big 12. So, we're still going to get the travel up to Manhattan and Lawrence, Kansas. So that's going to make it easy.
Right,
Your parents can go to both of those games, and then, like you said, it's only a 5.5 hour trip down to Norman. So it's pretty easy trip for them down
right.
there. But yeah, that'll be really good for you. Yeah, and Kansas is beautiful, especially in the fall. It's
Yeah,
great. So for those games like in Manhattan, Manhattan's beautiful.
yeah,
I've drove through there a couple times. We're big Royals fans, so we like to go to Kansas City to watch those games.
yeah, yeah. The Roy, I don't really watch the Royals, but I don't watch them anymore. They haven't really been good for the past couple of years. But I'm a big Chiefs fan, so I'm always over there.
Yes, yes, I love the Chiefs. I've only been to one game. I went to my first NFL football game last year. I'm a season ticket holder for OU, so I go to all the college football games. But
Yeah,
I went to my first NFL game, and let me tell you, that place was rocking.
yeah.
That place was loud. We went to the Chiefs and Chargers game.
Yeah,
Um,
Arrowhead is a special place. Like it's like one of the smallest stadiums in the NFL, but like it's still one of the loudest. Like it's pretty crazy there.
yeah, so I mean, obviously, the draft is the draft. I mean, you don't really get to decide where you're going in the draft, but like, if there wasn't a draft and you could just pick any NFL team to go to, like, where would that be? Like, would it be the Chiefs or would you go somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the Chiefs since I can remember. So that's definitely a team I'd want to play on.
Yeah, and then you go partner up with Creed Humphrey and Orlando
Oh
Brown.
yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
just keep that OU legacy going up there in Kansas City.
Yeah, that would be pretty special.
Yeah. So kind of give us a little bit of insight, but like, what is your biggest motivation when you go out there and you step on the football field to go play football?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I definitely say number one, God, because like I'm a Christian. I'm a very like my family's very strong Christian based family, so definitely God first and foremost, and then my parents and my little brother trying to set the example for him and just trying to make my parents proud and my whole family really. My name it carries a lot of weight on my back, good weight, not bad weight, but just trying to make my family proud and the people that came before me proud.
Yeah. So you mentioned God in there, right? And I think that's just always so important. Uh, we see a lot of people out there. And they're out there praying on the field and everything. But just give us a little bit of insight. Like, what's your favorite scripture, or like what does your faith mean to you? Like how does I'm trying to think of how to word this, but like I don't know, just give us like your story and your background on like what your faith means to you, or just whatever your favorite scripture is.
Yeah, so my parents, they kind of like, I've always been in the church. Like I grew up in the church. They done a good job kind of surrounding us around like other Christians and keeping us in the church, and like we do family devotionals and like all that stuff. So they kind of instilled it in us. So my faith is a big deal to me. My favorite verse is probably Philippians 4:13. I got it tattooed on me, but I gotta have somebody go over it. But it's just basically saying I can do whatever, like I can do all things through Christ, and I really believe that like you can do whatever you want, whatever you put your mind to through Christ, and if you keep Him first and foremost, um, I really think you can do anything, and that's kind of the scripture that I use from day to day because stuff gets hard, workouts get tough, and like you got to be able to push through, and you got to know that you can do anything.
Yeah, and just being able to lean on the Lord a little bit, right, and understand like He's got you, He's gonna get you through it.
Right.
That's important. And of course, like earlier, right? We talked about it, moving away from your family. Kind of starting this journey on your
Hmm.
own, like being able to lean on the Lord and rely there. That's really important. And so, yeah, that's awesome. This has probably been the number one question with all of the fans. They love this question. They love to get a little bit more insight into your guys' faith. So that's awesome. And you're going to probably, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I would say the best school, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you got Brent Venables and Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates. And, these guys are very outspoken Christians. They're always posting, about what they're reading on Facebook and how God and scripture are challenging their lives. And, I think going into an environment where you're going to have Brent Venables in that staff, not only, you know, challenge you guys on the football field, but challenge you in life and help you guys grow in your faith and grow and mature as just, men. Like, I think that's awesome. And I think that's going to do wonders for you.
for sure.
But kind of speaking on that, did that play a factor or a role in wanting to go play for BV? So I saw on here, I'm looking at the 247 Sports, and it looks like we offered you back in 2021. So that would have been the Lincoln Riley era. And then that offer was confirmed in 2022 with Brent Venables and the staff change. So, like, was there, like, BV being here in this staff, did that like impact your decision at all based on who they are just as devout Christians and everything else?
Yeah. So basically, when I heard the news on Twitter that Coach Riley was leaving, like I immediately, like, the first person I texted was Coach B, and I was like, Coach, do you know anything? Like, trying to get the inside scoop, and he was like, no, and apparently he found out when the rest of us did. So basically, like, as long as he was still there, Oklahoma was still high on my list. So basically, the new hire came, and Coach Venables was hired, and I immediately called my coach because my coach, Coach Jamar Mosey, he played for Oklahoma in 2000. He played for a couple years, but I know he played in 2000 because he has his national championship ring. But I immediately called him, and I was like, "What do you think of him?" Like, and he was talking about how he coaches with intensity, he coaches with passion, but like you could tell like he's a Christian man and he's a good quality guy. So I started talking to him and I started getting to know him and getting to know the new staff and everybody on the new staff, and like it was kind of easy. Like you don't not want to play for those guys, and how passionate all of them are and how much they care about um, us as people and not just us as players. Like, it was kind of like, yeah, I want to go play for these guys.
Yeah, it really seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, it seems like it's more than just the paycheck for them,
Yeah,
right? Like they see their job as an opportunity to just help you guys be better people,
right,
right?
right.
And then everything you guys get on the football field is just extra
Yeah,
added, right?
for sure.
They're more worried about who are you going to become as a person.
Right.
So seems like you have a pretty good relationship with Bill
Mhm.
Beatonbow. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, so Coach B, I mean, he's been there from since the beginning, even before I got the offer. Like, I used to tag him on my workout posts, and he used to like them and all that stuff. And I was one of the first offensive linemen he offered. So in the 2023 class, so me and him, like, we've been building a relationship like my entire recruiting process really. And um, Coach B, he coaches with intensity. He coaches with a lot of passion. He gets after his guys, but like even the guys, like I talked to quite a few of the linemen, and they can tell that's all out of love, and you can tell that he really cares about his players, even through how intense he is when he's coaching. And so I think that was a big deal for me, and just talking to the players was pretty cool to hear that from them.
Yeah, so you were right now you guys you're ranked as a top 100 player. You're ranked number 74 nationally, number 11th overall offensive tackle, number 1 in the state of Missouri. Yeah, your 4 stars and your composite score is .96. So, um what's it going to be like for you this year? Do you think you're going to get that 5th star? Where do you think you're going to end up landing in this class?
I'm not too sure. Like, I wanna have like the best film possible, like the best senior tape, like I possibly can this year. Me personally, I don't like pay attention to the rankings too much. I don't buy into them too much because I've seen like 5 stars that aren't legit at all. And I've seen like dogs that are like don't have stars and like just are undersized. So I don't really feed into the rankings right now. I'm just trying to focus on like having the best senior campaign and getting as college ready as possible. But I mean, if they want to throw me that 5th star, I'm definitely not. I definitely would be grateful for that. But I don't feed too much into it.
Yeah. So, what's one thing going into your senior season? What's one thing that okay, I've got to work on this. I'm going to work on this. What is that one thing?
I just want to like perfect and work to get better at every aspect of my game. Really, I think going into my senior season, my biggest focus and my biggest thing is trying to win a state championship because we got really close last year, and that would have been our first state championship in school history. Like we were like 7 points short of going to the big game, and so I think this year is just like finishing it off, and trying to bring back a ring, like our first school ring.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. To be able to, it's awesome to be able to have that hardware, or just to be able to have the Letterman jacket,
Yeah,
right, with that national championship on there.
yeah,
So, give us a little bit more insight to your recruitment, right? Obviously, we know you're going to OU. We know you love OU. But who were some of the other big schools that recruited you? When you took that official visit to Michigan and LSU and Missouri, like what was it like? Like what were their facilities like? It looks like you got to go to LSU when Brian Kelly was
yeah.
there. Did he do anything weird with you like he did with the other recruits?
Nah, he didn't. He was chilling when we went. Thank God. But yeah, uh, I definitely say the officials were a very cool experience. Like I'm glad I went on them. Like it was something that you only get to experience once in a lifetime, and they were definitely special. Getting to eat like all sorts of food and not having to pay for it. Like I probably had like $1,000 worth of steak in those official visits, and like it was crazy. And then when we went down to LSU, some of the food that we had, like it was good stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, but I'm glad I got to go and see different places. Like those facilities really are special, but I mean, at the end of the day, what was best for me was in Norman. So
Yeah. So, is there anybody specific outside of Bill Beatonbow and the coaches, like player wise, that have recruited you? So we've seen Jackson Arnold and Samuel Omosigo go out on Twitter, and when I was talking to Samuel last week, he said, "Oh, Jackson and I are constantly texting people." Like, is there a specific player that texted you to try to get you to Oklahoma or get you somewhere else that was like, okay, like I really want to play with that guy?
yeah, so for the longest, like Jackson and Josh, they were like the only like really the only 2 offensive guys committed. But like them guys, they worked their butts off. Like I talked to Jackson a lot. I talked to Josh a lot. They texted me. Josh posted stuff on Twitter. Like they were very active. Now they got a little bit of help, but like for a while it was just them two, and they did a good job. I heard from them quite a bit and all that stuff. So now I'm just trying to help them.
Yeah, no. So, how do you feel like you're going to be able to compete in that offensive line room, right? You know, obviously OU just always year in years out has elite talent there.
Yeah,
And you guys are going to be able to bring in some more people,
right.
whether it's in the 2023 class or 2024 class. How do you feel like you're going to be able to stack up? and being able to compete for a spot in that room to be able to start.
Yeah, me personally, like I'm a highly competitive guy. Like, um, I think part of the reason why I chose OU was because of their offensive line room and how good it always is, and like just me being surrounded by other dogs, like that'll help elevate me. So that is one of the reasons I picked OU. So I definitely say it'll elevate me and it'll push me just knowing that like there's always somebody on my tail. Like that's one of the big reasons I picked OU just because of how competitive that offensive line room is.
No, that's good, right? When you surround yourself with competition, it makes you better.
Right,
And especially with having dreams and aspirations to go to the NFL, right, and be on that level, when you have good, and we've seen it, right? Alabama, LSU, and all these other places that have won national championships as of recently. When you have the talent that is there to help other players be able to go out there and compete not only externally but internally at a high level,
right,
they get drafted higher and they have more
right.
success. So that's awesome. Really glad to hear that from you. So tell us a bit more about Schmitty. Are you excited to go get a little bit of strength and conditioning under Schmitty, or are you a little bit like not sure about it yet?
I'm excited. Like I said, my coach he played at OU in the when they won that national championship, so he knows all about Coach Smitty, and he be telling me stories and stuff. And I'm not even gonna lie, the stories he be telling me like they put me a little bit on the edge of my seat, but hey, I'm here for whatever. And then the players, the way they talk about them, like I actually am excited to get to work out under him because the way the players, the way they are really coming together and the way they push themselves, like it makes me excited. But at the same time, like the stories that my coach be telling me, but I'm excited.
The best advice anybody can give you at Schmitty: don't be late to
Yes,
workouts. I had Tawi Walker on the other day. It was like last week, and he's the new JUCO running back coming in,
hmm
big dude. But he guess he was waiting on some like workout clothes. He thought someone was gonna bring it to him, so he showed up late, and like Smitty kept pointing him to the stairmaster.
yeah.
So
My coach, he told me a story that about how he was late one time ever to workouts, and long story short, it wasn't a happy time for him. So
yeah, Gabe Eichert has told several stories.
yeah,
I don't know if you know who Gabe Eichert is, but he's told several stories on the Oklahoma Breakdown podcast. Which again, that's like the third time I've mentioned that podcast recently. But yeah, no, they're super great, and he's told a lot of fun stories about Schmitty.
yeah.
Being an offensive lineman himself, I'm sure you'll be able to relate to a lot of his stories. So as we go to wrap up here, just got a few more questions for you. We've talked about your goals, right? You want to be able to go out there, win a state championship this year,
hmm
but what is one team that you are most excited to play going into your season here at the University of Oklahoma?
Yeah. So basically, last year, we went into the state semifinals, and we played this team called Christian Brothers, which they're a really good team. They're stacked pretty deep, and we going into the fourth quarter, we were up 14 points, and then they came back and they beat us by 7. And they end up going to state and winning that state championship game by like 40 points. So I definitely say them. I'm excited to see them again. I think if we do see them, it'll end up being in state. So that'll be a good rematch. So I'm excited for that one.
What about when you get here to Norman, Oklahoma? Who are you excited to play, whether it's in the Big 12 or the SEC?
Texas, without a doubt. That Red River Showdown. And we're gonna try to go. We were gonna try to go this year, like actually get tickets to that game because I really want to. I mean, I'll be playing in it in a second, but I want to see it.
Yeah, are you going to be able to make it down to Norman for any of the home games this year or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be down for the Kent State game, and then I think Bedlam. I think Bedlam's at home this year, so I think I'm gonna come to that one. I'm excited to play in that one too. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully, we get to be able to continue that rivalry
Yeah,
outside of the Big 12 which I think at this point it sounds like it's just OSU at this point that's holding up that chance to be able to play that game.
Yeah.
So
So that'll be fun. And then oh yeah, Nebraska too. Nebraska, that's kind of like a renewed rivalry. So
yeah, I think we got them on this slate for I want to say it's 2027 and 2028 because
mhm,
I know we play Michigan in 2025 and 2020 or 2026.
mhm,
So I think you'll be, or I don't. We'll see. I'm sure all these out of conference games are going to get completely restructured
yeah,
once we move to the SEC because we have some SEC teams on there that obviously are not going to be out of conference games.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but well, one last question, and this has also been another fan favorite by the OU fans. But who is your favorite college football player and why?
Favorite college football player. I'm actually not sure. Like I don't really follow college football as much. I just kind of watch it, but I don't know. That's a good question.
We'll just say that it's Baker Mayfield, and then OU
Oh,
fans
like
will
all
agree with
time?
that. All time, yeah. It doesn't have to be like this year. Like it can just be all time.
I'm gonna go with Baker. I would go. I was just watching him before I got on here, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Baker.
Yeah, it looks like Baker's doing pretty good at the Carolina Panthers camp. He
Yeah,
that first day was kind of rough, but now he's kind of getting in the swing of things. So
yeah,
I feel like as he gets more practices in and everything, he'll be good on that team.
yeah,
So
for sure, for sure.